I got almost 500, you guys. Nice. There's also a lot of other English casters. Steadfast is casting Chicken Man. Wait, hold on. I feel like there's one more. Gordy's the default one. Creighton. Creighton is also casting. So you have your flavors to choose from. What flavor do I want to be? My favorite chocolate. My favorite chocolate. No, I don't like chocolate actually. My favorite ice cream flavor goes between mint chocolate chip and strawberry, depending on my mood. But mint chocolate chip, that's what I want to be. It's probably a more controversial one though. Damn. I'm not gonna lie either, guys. Sometimes you go to that Maggie Moose or Cold Stone, you get yourself a little bit of that banana ice cream with banana in it, with caramel and walnuts. It's a good day.
Twitch Prime
Usually I'm definitely with people when they say banana flavoring sucks. It usually does, but something about that, I don't know. Alright, a whole minute of talking about ice cream. In the bottom left, brand new best of 3 TVP, it's Liquid Clem. And in the top right, as the Red Protoss, he is Ting's Neeb. Thank you very much, Navy Dragon, for the 3-month resub. It's a cool name. And thank you very much, No Pineapples on Pizzas. Hey, I like pineapples on pizzas. Hey, fuck the haters, sexism isn't veiled at all. I mean, sometimes it isn't, for sure. The other times it is a little bit. You know, the typical, she's a little bossy, but you'd never say that about, you know, a man type thing. Certainly happens. Not too much, but I like how we handle the situation. Oh, thank you. I'm not gonna say I always handle things with dignity and grace. I'm definitely not always nice, but in that situation, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then I didn't, and then I just took that right away, just whoop. I was gonna go to the bathroom, but nah, damn, now we're actually into it, man. Now we're into it. Shit. Alright, well, that's fine. That's fine. Stargate from Neeb here. Also, misrallying his probes. This makes me so happy as a Protoss. Half a Protoss player, I don't know what you call me anymore. I still identify as a Terran player, but ooh, kind of makes up for it by catching that Reaper. Nicely done. But I do play halfsy with Protoss and Terran at this point, so. I go to this place called Billy's on the beach, and I get myself some hot fudge ice cream, hot fudge sundae, but it's not actually a sundae. Anyways, that stuff is good. You gonna stream some later after this? No. This is already a longer stream than I usually do. I got things to do. And I'm not just saying that so I can go play like The Witcher or Pokemon or something. No, I legitimately mean it. I am gonna order some food though. My contribution to the restaurants hit by these hard times is once a week. The entire time I've lived in this apartment, so like 6 or 7 months at this point, I have not ordered out except the past 3 weeks trying to help out restaurants. And you know what? It's actually been really fun because there's a lot of interesting restaurants around me. I'm sorry, someone just told me to stop talking about food. I'm sorry. I'll stop. Fake Oracle coming through here. Gonna force a very strong reaction with the SEVs. Maybe not, because the Viking should see that it's fake. Yeah, okay. Cyclone does come out. I mean, he did legitimately go for a Stargate, so the response here from Clem is not wrong. The Viking and a Cyclone, but he just didn't really use the Stargate like you would expect. That was a fake Oracle. He didn't make a real one. He's going into a couple of Phoenix, third Nexus, and then perhaps into... I even see Colossus coming out from Neeb here. Helleen's gonna try and get a check-in on Layets. Run away for the Phoenix, run away! Doesn't see very much except the gas timings, and I'm not sure what you can tell from that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Phoenix are now going to try and come across the map, but they got to actually be careful. Oh, jeez. Okay, that one locked on is going to die. That's going to happen. At least it scouted this without dying entirely, but this is certainly a weakness of the Stargate opener. Whether you go for 1 or 2 oracles, or in this case 4 or 5 Phoenix, you're going to delay X thing by that amount, right? That's the way it works. Question is, do the oracles of the Phoenix actually help you in place? They both can, absolutely, but you got to use them in the correct way. Tank joins the party, but a little bit late. Neeb actually had a decent amount of adepts that shaded in here. He's got a Guardian Shield as well. He is going to be able to take care of this. It is like... Sorry. It is like one of those things, though, that if everything is together for Clem, and his tank is sieged, and he's able to focus fire with the tank on top of the ground units, and he's able to focus fire the Cyclone and the Viking on top of the one Phoenix lifting whatever it lifts, that's when things get a little bit nasty, even if Neeb did have a decent number of units. But... it was a little bit of a one thing after another, right? First the Cyclone came, then the Marines came, then the tank came. So Neeb was able to take care of it by actually just going for it basically immediately and not just letting it get all nice and comfy around his third nexus. So good dealing with that. Move on to the next stage. Charge is on the way. The Phoenix will take care of anything that Blink would have to. And then we might eventually see Blink down the road. But Charge first and foremost with the +1 armor as well. And a Robo. Single Robo. We'll see if that's going to be added with the Robotics Bay. Phoenix, I think, just saw the 3rd CC. In fact, they did. They delayed it as well. On location, 3rd CCs is just the way that Terrans kind of have to go now. As risky as it is and as punished as it can be. Double drop into the main was actually not seen by the Phoenix. Clem would have kind of known that by having his 3rd CC scouted. He knew where the Phoenix were. But it doesn't mean the Phoenix can't come back. That's exactly what's happening. One gets target fired down, but one medevac is going to go down too. 2 Phoenix targeted down, actually. He's starting to take care of the ground units as well. Okay, he doesn't really get the lift off there. Maybe would have been better just to stand his ground, but saw an opportunity. Thought he did anyways. 2 Phoenix can't kill a medevac that fast, can they? Well, kind of helped by the sentries on the Stalker. Armor's going to finish up here for our Protoss. Clem only just starting his, but there was an upgrade lead for that fight too. Didn't matter as much as the positioning. Go good, baguette boy. Oh no! Oh, those Widow Mines though. Oh, okay, Neeb does notice, but a little bit of a panicked moment there. I saw him like pull a probe and then he split or something along those lines. It was a little bit awkward. 9 probes go down. Also his army just running face first into the reinforcements of Clem. Oh, and that Warper's in a very, very dangerous spot. Ooh, Force Field will be able to save it though. If it was just a little bit closer, I think it dies. Marine range would have been just a little bit too good, but it was a bit farther back and then pulls back even farther. Much safer. Clem playing a dangerous game right now. There is a force field available. Okay, he's going to lose a couple of Marauders. He tries to pick up. He does pick up a few units. Not too shabby, but Neeb not going into any additional tech here. Just continuing this armor upgrade and building a couple of Immortals. So actually on a very bare bones composition because he also doesn't have Phoenix anymore. They've mostly died. Okay, he's kept 2 alive, but that, like, does that really count as anti-air? Does it though? And Blink's still not on the way. Means that he really is just depending on those charge lots and force field positioning to make it work. So, oh man, a risky... It can be a powerful army for sure. A couple good force fields when they're not expecting your army and suddenly those zealots overwhelm. You get a good cheeky attack in, but Clem was prepared. But it can also just turn on you, you know? You get surrounded. The War Prism's not reinforcing those zealots. Like, ugh. It's scary. Neeb is going into Storm, which you don't see too often anymore just because ghosts are a natural progression away from with the Twilight Council charge that you usually see in this matchup. Phoenix trying to come back to help out, but this was already a terrible start for Neeb. An Immortal popped out and got killed. Phoenix flying over a couple Widow Mines. Actually took the shots. Maybe that was ended up being better. 1 Phoenix still alive. Archon trying to be focus fire down. Barely not going to grab that Archon. Ooh, 10 health. Oh, no, don't die. Don't. 5 health. Don't die. Stop it. You're meant to live, Archon. You're meant to live. Oh, no. Oh, shit. While this is happening, the War Prism actually went into that 3rd base in natural. 8 SCVs died. While Neeb was able to grab... What did he grab, actually? He grabbed a couple of pylons. I thought he grabbed a gateway or something, but no. Grabbed a couple of pylons. He saved his army. Definitely not to be underestimated there. Could have died to an Archon blast or something. Clem does take 8 worker losses. Still has a warp prism to deal with. And that's always scary. I started his upgrades now, but it's going to be a long time before those actually take into effect. Neeb, still no upgrades from him. Despite getting double forge, he has to replace everything he lost. He has to reconfigure everything he's got. He's got to pay attention to these units flying around because he doesn't have those Phoenix. He doesn't have an observer even to scout where they are, so he's a bit in the dark. Blink is about to finish, but his stalker count is very, very low. He is going into robotics bay finally. He's still got a couple of those force fields, and those could be brutal. The Immortal Storm combination on top of this army would be fabulous. Doesn't really get it, though. 4th Nexus on the way, scouted by a Marine from Clem. Clem also trying to go into that Ghost Academy, something that the Zealots in the main base would have seen, and also just is predictable. It's going to happen. Knows that he has to transition away from this army. He can't just depend on storms. He actually can't depend on many things in this army. The force fields get EMP'd, the storms get EMP'd, and the Immortals get their shield popped by the EMP. EMP is actually a really good spell, you guys. Who'd have thunk it? But expensive and sometimes slow to get to. So Colossus or Disruptors would be that next step that's not going to be hard, countered by Clem until he gets either Liberators or Vikings, which would take a long time for him. He is getting into a 4th TC. He is going for a drop on the main base. Actually, no, double Liberator harassment. Archons could try and help out, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're just trying to go around the Sim City. Neeb not paying attention at all. Is trying to defend his 4th base. He's going to lose a lot of probes here. Finally pulls the probes away. But 8 probes and 2 bases denied mining. That is absolutely brutal. He also has to focus on the Warp Prism to fire those storms, because otherwise he will get EMP'd, and that's going to take a lot of concentrated efforts. He is taking care of the Liberators, looks like, back in the main and natural. This fight, though, he needs a couple of storms. The EMP and the burst of the Marine damage takes out the Warp Prism with 2 High Templars still inside. 2 High Templars would have provided amazing storms. 2 more storms. This army actually probably would have died to the leftovers of Neeb. But without those storms, it's too strong. GG. Clem takes the fight, takes the game. Even if he did have those extra storms, probably isn't going to be enough. He had lost so much mining. He had not taken, I feel like he had never taken a really convincing fight. Yeah. Needed those Disruptors. That's what I needed. You're putting so many random things on pizza. Either they live in Korea? Yeah, I don't know. Is there any food in the US that doesn't have sugar? Excuse you, good sir or ma'am, it's corn syrup. And the answer is, unfortunately, not many. You have to pay attention not to get sugar in your food. Meat and vegetables, I wouldn't be so sure about those vegetables. Like a McDonald's salad has a crazy amount of sugar in it. And if you told me they sugared their steaks, I'd believe you. I'd be like, yeah, alright. A little bit of sugar. Get a little sugar glaze going on that steak. Sure, why not? It's not a US or not US thing. Sugar? I mean, I've been to stores. One of my favorite things to do in foreign countries is just to go to stores. Yeah. Convenience stores and grocery stores. They're so different elsewhere. First of all, America has just everything at one stores. If you go to a grocery store in America, you can find, almost everything you're looking for. Meat, dairy, bread, hardware, cat food. Pharmacies, everything. Some places in Korea had that, but they were huge and they were really spread out. You'd have to take a train and take another train to get to the big supermarket. Other countries, it's you have your one place for a lot of your meat, and one place for your fresh baguettes. You have the stall with all the fruits and vegetables. And it was a lot more fresh stuff too. In France, I used to go to the what is it called? The Franprix or whatever, something like that. And while they had a decent amount of everything, I don't remember them having any hardware or a pharmacy. And it was a lot of fresh stuff, too. A lot of dark breads as well. If I wanted a typical American white loaf, you know, butter bread, I would have difficulty finding it. I had lobster on pizza in Belize. Like, I've actually seen / heard of that. It doesn't sound like a bad thing. I don't know, man. I just feel like pizza is actually something that is supposed to be played with. The base ingredients are so delicious, but also so versatile. Like, I'm not gonna judge something when someone's like, no, it's the worst. Okay, actually, I take that back. Ketchup on pizza is kind of just gross. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'll try it one day. It might not be bad. How do you get the probe kill counter? It's called WCS Game Hearts. You make a lobby and you add a mod. You go to McDonald's for your salads? I mean, you know you can go to McDonald's for like a burger and want something healthy alongside it, right? Like, I don't think that's sacrilege. It's like when my friends wanted to order pizza when we were having a game night, and I was like, oh, let's, like, can I get a salad? And they're like, they don't have salads at a pizza place. And I'm like, pretty sure they do. To their credit, they were right about, like, Domino's and Papa John's, but if you went to, like, an Italian restaurant and ordered their pizza, they would absolutely have salads, but I got freaking salad shamed. Yep, probe's dead. Reaper was doing his job anyways. It was scouting. Scouted the Stargate, got a probe. Way to go, Reaper. Must be the corn syrup. There's a lot of reasons why US has high obesity, right? Again, going to foreign countries, you see how much people walk. Even Canada, which is as large as the United States, it's more centralized, so. I know a decent amount of Canadians who just, like, don't ever bother driving. I know basically no Americans who don't bother driving. If I know someone in Manhattan, that's the person who doesn't drive. That's just France? Well, I went to Germany as well.
Twitch Prime sub received.
And
Thank
there was
you for
one,
appeasing the
like,
online.
in Leipzig, there was one gigantic grocery store that we happened to have a hotel next to, but that was because there was literally nothing else. Literally. Leipzig is literally the convention center, a giant shopping center, and a hotel. So again, having to drive a decent amount to go to a giant store. Poland? I didn't actually get time to go to Poland's grocery store, so I can't speak on that. Japan. Not really any giant grocery stores. Nice. Thank you very much, Penny Waffle, for the Twitch Prime sub. I don't remember going to the UK, so I can't comment on that. Canada? Yeah, well, Canada's a lot like America in many ways. So, yeah. I pointedly did not mention Canada because I have been to Canada's gigantic grocery stores. They're like a better version of America. But still not close to the Europeans. Well, this is a lot more damage the Phoenix get to do this game than last game. First of all, they're all alive. Second of all, no push. Third of all, actually getting to the main base, killing 5 SCVs and almost getting that Cyclone. Not too shabby right there. That's what the Phoenix would have wanted to do last game. Also, Neeb not going into... Okay, so he does go into Twilight Council Double Forge. My bad. Wait. Okay. Not going into Twilight Council. I was right with my first statement. But Double Forge and then Robotics Bay. So changing things up here in game number 2. Live in Toronto and I disagree. Well, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but upon my perception, having visited many places in the world, in America, when I lived in Toronto for a month, you could actually walk places. The difference I would expect is that in many places you can walk places. In America, it's not just like, lol, Americans lazy. It's that you legitimately cannot. If I wanted to go to the grocery store, I would have to walk for 30 minutes. Even when I lived in California for a little while, it was the same deal. Not too many actually like super dense cities that I've been to, but a lot more just rural, suburbia, whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough split. But it seems that Neeb has done it well enough. Stalker's dealing with a single drop over here, not too bad. Colossus plus force fields coming over here, and the Phoenix as well. Just enough to really power this army so that Clem can't collapse on it. Because sometimes this army is like what Protoss think they can hold, and then they miss the force fields, the Colossus dies, and they're just like, oh no. But that held. So well done on the split there for Neeb. Probably the most dangerous part of this build here. You know, going into those Colossus quickly, getting a third base at a really nice time. Double upgrades. Not a lot of room for a lot of units, so you gotta split them pretty well. Clem correct in trying to abuse that. Didn't really get an opportunity to. He's gonna be behind in upgrades. Both still on 3cc, and he does obviously recognize that it's Colossus, not something he's gonna have to use Ghost for. You do sometimes just see the Ghost Academy come down first and then the double starport, just because 3 bases can support both, but right now we just have straight into the double starport, and he did swap over. Okay, he did swap over. No more Wood of Mines in play here. Since charge is not an option, that actually is okay. If there's also charge that's added on, sometimes Wood of Mines can still be helpful, but oof, it's so hard to control Wood of Mines, Viking, Ghost, Bio. The last of the Wood of Mines. Rip. I feel like the Canadians and the Americans might understand my point about grocery stores and how big they are in America, but I feel like sometimes people outside of America don't get it. They like, no, we have big grocery stores, and I'm like, no, you really don't. Like, if you do, they're pretty far spaced out, but if I wanted to go to a Walmart, which is like gigantic, I could go either direction 15 minutes and find a Walmart or a Target or a gigantic grocery store like a Harris Teeter or a Giant or something. $30 minutes, that's close. Yeah, okay. So 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. Yep, that's exactly what everyone else does. With groceries in hand? Yep. Oh my god, no, the Ghost Academy in a very awkward position. Would have been fine against Zealot run-bys, which was the intention, but not so fine against a gigantic army. Fourth base also providing more of a force field here for Neeb. Clem's own SimCity is working against him. It's very awkward. It is also taking a couple of shots. This one Colossus is actually flipping useless, killing the command center instead of the army, but this was just awkward and more awkward. Upgrades also not done for Clem until literally just now. Would have been so helpful against this army. 27 SCVs go down. The third and fourth CCs are under fire, and Clem is forced to tap out. GG. Yeah, public transit in the US is terrible. I mean, if people want to provide examples as to when in their state or country it does not do X or Y, like people bringing up UK apparently have tons of Walmarts. All right then. Can't confirm or deny that, but from what I've heard, talking to people who have been to both continents, words, Yeah, it's a generalization, but it is a generalization. It's actually true in a lot of places that Europe is so much more accessible and America is not. I mean, the whole reason why in Super Size Me the guy had to take cabs everywhere in New York was because New York is such an outlier compared to the rest of America. This all just came off the back of like not even defending. It was just like there are many reasons why America is obese. So it's, you know, something that we're basically agreeing on, but getting lost in like what's the word? Stories, anecdotes. There you go. Alright, game number 3, the last game here. The finals we have best of 5, but the semifinals still best of 3. The top left, it is Clem. Bottom right, it is Neeb. There is a thing called a delay that is used in tournaments for the casters. It's 2 minutes for these cups. Yeah. I feel like if a French person came in here and was like, well, there's this one... I was in Cologne, and there was like a pretty big, oh, I don't remember what you guys call it. It was a grocery store. I don't know what it was called. Was it an Aldi? No. I don't think so. Anyways. And it was like pretty big, but it still was not comparable. And I feel like people are going to come in here and be like, no, that's really big. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, apparently there are stories of people coming in from, you know, Asia or Europe and going to a Walmart or a Costco. Costco is still pretty rare outside of America, although popping up everywhere. And they're just like, I don't, this is so much. And even if you're like, well, we have the same thing, I feel like you guys still have more options. Again, if I wanted to go somewhere to get, you know, if I want to go to a butcher, I actually cannot think of where I'd go for a butcher shop. There is no butcher shop. There once was a butcher shop back where I used to live, and then it didn't do well, so it had to turn into a restaurant. Can I think of a bakery? There's one bakery I can think of within an hour of me driving. And then often these bakeries are actually just desserts. Not like hearty bread. It was very different experiences when I traveled. It was like even, and you'd be like, oh, you've only traveled to the cities. And it's like, well, I guess, but I've also been to Krefeld. And I walked through those streets and saw many stereotypical things you would see in like a, you know, I don't actually know, a propaganda film. What is this? What is this? What the heck? Are you doing something normal back at home? Yeah, I need to 111. Oh, okay, he's going for Hellions. These Marines, they're just coming. They're just going.
The firstborn shall persevere.
I guess they're gonna distract the Stalkers and the Adepts for the Hellions to get through. The Oracle's gonna see this though, give at least Neeb a little bit of notice. Now, how is he gonna respond? His sentry does not have a force field, it just hallucinated. Hello? He's gonna block. Ooh, barely getting that wall in. Ooh. Ooh. And then hoping not to get his pylon depowered, that would be a third of his production, so. Not just making sure it's going to stay power, but also providing a little bit more of a choke for his units if the gateway had to be canceled. Probe's going to be pulled on top of the Marines, not a big deal. More of a big deal if they're pulled on top of the Hellions, but only 2 Hellions. They actually do not one-shot these probes, so it's a little less scary. You could even try and micro them away at this point. Clem, I mean, it's not monetarily a big loss for a Terran player to do this, so what more so is the big loss is the production. You know, the Hellions are only useful for that. They're like the Adepts when you just shade them in and hope they do some damage. They die and then you might be screwed back at home. But if you're quick, if you do take a lot of time, if they're not doing something that is about to get aggressive anyways, right? Like if they had a Warp Prism and 5 gateways, like, ooh, shit. But he's not, then you get a tank. You get a Banshee, apparently. Back at home, and you're all Gucci. Also a bunker, because safety. Safety first. How would you compare to supermarkets in Korea? I went to one giant supermarket in Korea. I had to ride a train for 30 minutes. And that was not that big. It was large, but probably as large as my local grocery store. Definitely not as large as a Costco or a Walmart. There is literally one Costco in Korea, as far as I understand it. It's hella popular. Been to San Francisco, super walkable, also super not livable. Yes, I've been there, actually. It was not very pleasant. Not only the whole idea of, like, lol, like, I can't afford to live here, but also, oh my god, these homeless people are actually kind of scary. Oh, a nice little follow-up attack here. Salvage the bunker, which you didn't really need anyways. Neeb's going into a third base and into Colossus, so no plans of attacking him whatsoever. But then Clem goes for a follow-up attack. This is without stim. He's actually severely delayed stim considering all he's done before this. And it's not going to do so hot. Interference magic can be used on the Colossus, which is actually very powerful if Neeb didn't start the process right now. If Neeb is just back at home, you know, not a care in the world, and the siege tank siege up and he goes, oh shit, it's such a big difference. Actually starting the fight right then and there, getting an idea as to what's coming with this, you know, where the Banshees, for instance, okay, they're in the main now, being able to actually see that and respond to it, and then have his Colossus actually beam down on those Marines is a very big deal. Stalkers are going to take care of this, but 2 Banshees, oh, they hurts. 8 probes do go down despite trying to be on top of it. Neeb's also trying to maneuver in a position where he can actually take the fights, not just, you know, push it away. Clem trying to be proactive about that. Oh, geez. Oh, no, Neeb's not paying attention. Neeb, he actually goes for the fight. Okay, maybe he was paying attention, but to take 2 shots of the tank fire without really responding, that is a lot of damage to take. Colossus are going to go down. Well, 1 Colossus goes down. Zealots are also going to be taken out here, and this is all while Stim is finishing up. It wasn't even done. Combat Shield, Stim, +1, all finishing up there. Did Neeb actually take the wrong fight? He lost a lot. I'd say especially losing the Colossus is a big deal. 3rd CC is down location. He's going to go ahead and cancel 1 gas because he doesn't need 6 of them. Starport's on the way, but obviously heavily... Wait, no. That's a 2nd starport. I was like, he has Medivacs. Hold on here. Alright, he's affording a 2nd starport as he saturates his 3rd CC. Oh, this actually doesn't look like enough. Oh, the big concave of Clem might just be too good. Upgrades. Oh, almost done here for Neeb. Thermal Lance, that is. 1-1 upgrades only just started, so he has been behind for a while. As Observer sees what the economy is really like here, and at least he can feel somewhat nice that it's not, you know, fully saturated. Well, he's kept his economy alive, yeah, for the most part. Did lose 8 probes. But double upgrades. Did replace at least one of the Colossus. He'll have a chance eventually, but being able to afford to go beyond Colossus, to go into a decent number of Gateway units or High Templar, oh, that's a stretch. This will be tough. He's preparing for drops, of which there will be a single drop to the left. The Observer over here might have seen that. Maybe that's why he split. It's a lot of Marauders on the right side. Gotta be careful here. Does you stories you just have a queue now? Some do. I haven't been to one that has. Oh, the Nexus was not canceled! Oh, he was so close to saving it. Oh, so close. 400 minerals down the drain. He is moving on to Disruptors. Oh, of course, Doi. What's a unit that comes out of the same production facilities that you already have and is really, really good and doesn't get countered by Vikings? It's the Disruptor! Good job, guys. Now, it does still get difficult to play against someone who can also build Liberators, and there are 2 starports willing to produce Liberators, so that's the tricky part, but they're also Ghosts, because we're leading into the next phase of PvT, and you're going to expect both of them to have counters to both of their things. It becomes a micro and positioning game. 4th base was killed, then it was denied. Now, finally, it might actually be good to go. Observer still chilling. Still chilling. It's a very tricky spot. You can't really see that with the flora here. Fauna, whatever. Fauna. I was like, hold on. I'm mixing 2 words. I'm mixing them. I got there eventually, guys. But he sees the Force CC was my point. And also just a little bit of the reinforcements, you know? Like, if suddenly the reinforcements stop and they all just stay there in the 3rd base or the natural, you know that he's probably not attacking you. Oh my god! Oh, that shot was so good. Second one less good, but still got 2 Marauders. Oh, that first shot was... Oh, no, he wasn't expecting that. He was not expecting that, but the Vikings still got to rain down on the Colossus, taking them out of the equation. The Colossus actually did not get too many good shots because they were kind of roaming around this little thing here. But one does live, and more importantly, the Disruptors did their job and lived to tell the tale. 2-2 is also now on par with Clem's 2-2, despite the extended period of time where he was down an upgrade. Good scan on the Observer is going to take away vision from that drop location. But over here, we do have an attack. Archon's wanting the juicy shot on top of those Vikings. I tell you what, Disruptor not going to get a shot, but pushes the bio back, leaving the Vikings a little bit vulnerable. They want the Colossus. They're not going to grab it. Shield Battery is also available to recharge it, so it can come back into the fight. 3rd Disruptor shot. It's an okay one there, but it is maybe going to get target fired. Nope, not quite. Colossus still barely living. The Vikings can't go for it. They're not going to get that last hit. Ooh, razor thin edge right now. Behind this, Clem does have his 4th, and it's turning into a planetary, so no fear of run-bys. But Neeb is going to take advantage of how the fight's been going and actually just continue pushing here, forcing another stim by killing the Medivacs as well. Means that every stim really hurts. His army off to the right side that was clearing up the Observer is forced to come back as Clem probably desperately F2ing to try and collect his army. He's got 160 supply, but where is it? It's somewhere, man. Like, where the hell is it? The Concave comes in, the Liberators come forward, the SCV is taking a couple of those shots from the Colossus. The Disruptor's not getting amazing shots so far. Actually, the splits, the Concave actually pretty damn good for Clem here as he's starting to turn on Neeb. Neeb forced a recall, but not everything. It was a clumsy recall, loses the Disruptor, and his Stalkers, they have Blink, they could escape. He lost so many expensive units over dedicating to that push. It's usually a fantastic place to push, though. Like, he had the momentum, he had the units, you know, very weak. He was chasing them down. This was providing a bit of a choke right here. It looked like a good opportunity, but it actually turned on him. And I just spoke about harassment. No Zealot harassment, perhaps, but a DT, a single DT. Perhaps noticing no missile turret there, no protection over there. Could do some serious damage. Neeb still has 3 Disruptors, but the rest of his army looking weak against those EMPs. He does start 3-3 as well. Looks like a Liberator has denied mining in the natural this entire time, but the DT now starting to get some damage done. Both denying each other's mining. But more importantly, trying to jump on top of these Disruptors. Going to dodge out of the way of that one. Both are 3-3s again, just so close to each other. DT in the natural as well, just spreading out the harassment, spreading out where Clem has to pay attention to, but Clem, oh no, Neeb actually was so focused on defending his 3rd and natural that he didn't chase him to the 4th base, which gets torn down. 17 probes as well. Much nastier loss here than Clem's 3rd base still under fire. The Zealots trying to get some decent damage done. The Medivacs, though, the number of Medivacs, despite the target fire around this base on the Medivacs, were replenished very quickly. I guess he just went back into 4 Medivac production, right, and very easily replaced them. Liberator barely survives. Neeb, he's hurting now, man. He did not have a 5th base on the way. If he had a 5th base and it was like finishing, I would still be like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. But that was his 4th as his first 3 bases start to mine out. And he lost the probes there too. He's got to hope for some great Disruptor shots. $30 probes because Liberator got some more, I guess, in the main. Yeah, looks like it. 3-3 is... No, actually not done for either player. I thought Neeb maybe was chronoing him, but he's got so many things he's got to chrono. Desperate times, man. So not going to get a lead there. He's going to take the fight. Disruptor actually getting a couple of shots. No Raven, obviously, and he might have been muling. Ooh, Disruptor on the left side is pretty darn good, but there's that concave that Clem was waiting for. He was waiting for Neeb to go a little too far forward. But Neeb actually reinforcing with a ton of units. Where the hell did all these come from? His Stalker count out of control as well. Gonna take out every Liberator. 3 Colossus, nothing to shake a stick at. And the army of Clem just kind of awkwardly hoping for that, again, that concave. But every time it gets chased through this choke, it gets a little bit more difficult. So all the Vikings have been torn down. Thanks to the Stalkers. Good focus fire there from Neeb. He wants to keep those Colossus alive. Very powerful, actually, against Liberators, which is, I know, always a conundrum. Colossus do not take on Liberators, obviously. But they can fire at them, force the army to stay away, and force the positioning war to go in favor of the Terran, or the Protoss, sorry. As the Terran has to just kind of be like, okay, I'm protected by my Liberators, I have to stay around my Liberators, but as I also can't push forward because your Colossus are raining hell from above. Like, what are my choices here? And Neeb does find the positioning in favor of him taking out those Liberators, but then allowing himself to be in a concave is always the dangerous part of what Neeb is doing. SCs are once again spooled, but Disruptor shots looking for the juicy hits. There's actually not too many because the concave is just that good for Clem. He's also running out of units, but so is Neeb. Neeb never replaced that 4th base. He was actually all in with this attack. The Vikings starting to tear down the Colossus. One more lives, but it's about to go down. Disruptor also off cooldown, it looks like. The Stalkers barely trying their best. They actually can't do it, I don't think. The Medevac's healing the Mirage is going to be too good. Both their upgrades are even. The Stalkers so damn low. Reinforcements do come in. Most of Clem's supplies in Medevacs, but he has 4 bases mining where Neeb is still only on 3. Not even, as his main gets totally mined out, and Clem could always lift an orbital here. I think Neeb's got the tap out, and he does. GG. Shit, that was really close at the ends. But it was deceiving. Clem had a lots more reinforcing.